If the glass half empty begins to take over, watch out. Jesus himself says, listen, you could have his blessing choked out if that becomes what you fixate on and what you focus on. I pray to God that when you hear him, if you have heard him call you, with that no matter what promise, that you will not look to the right or to the left, that you will not be distracted by what others have or don't have. You won't begin to think about how fair or unfair you think God is treating you. Listen, the fact that we know him and have breath, even if you're not saved, that you have another chance, is amazing grace, miraculous mercy. Go to Matthew 20, and you'll see an account. Again, Jesus using a parable. It's called the parable of the workers in the vineyard. And here you see Jesus saying, so I come in, and in the third hour of the day, which would be about 9 o'clock, I hire some workers in my field, in my vineyard. And I promise them I'll give them a day's wage. And then around noon, I go hire some more, and I gave them the same promise. And 3 o'clock, I do the same thing. And then it says at the 11th hour, which would be like 5 o'clock, they would work a 6 to 6 day. So at 5 o'clock, he goes and he hires some more. By grace, by the way, because he knows their needs. And just like he came to you and me, he goes to others. And he offers them the same promise that he offers you and me. And what happens? The folks that got in the grace early, and just think about that for a minute, the ones who have been sitting in the grace the longest tend to be the ones that get most snarled and most wrapped up and ugly about somebody getting the same grace late in the game. Jesus was pointing at what it would be like to see the kingdom of God, to see his grace reign. And he chastises those that would bicker and complain because they focus on what somebody else got. That's not fair. Friends, you and I better thank the Lord that he's not fair. The last thing in the world you and I want as sinners is God to be fair. Let our faith be attached to his grace. Let our lives be ever appreciative of his grace. Don't drift into that pit of grumbling. There's a man named Korah, 250 people that would follow him and his entire family, wiped out by the wrath of God to make a point. He says, don't you grumble, and don't you dare lead others to grumble with you. To do so is to go against the very essence of God's goodness and his grace. This, friends, is a battle of the faith. You and I are to do battle against the inners that want to complain, the inners of us that have a tendency to look at others and compare. We need to see ourselves through God's eyes. We need to appreciate our lives through God's grace. We need to recognize that where we are is in the midst of his providence, and that he's got a purpose for right here, right now, that is for his glory. And any other option needs to be pushed away and negated. And at the same time, you and I have got to recognize and watch out for those that will try to do battle for your faith and the faith of others, for your witness and the witness of others, that will come in and try to use grumbling and doubt and deception, try to feed your ego, feed your fear, feed your concerns like Satan did in the garden.